It all begins on a deserted island where a cargo container washes ashore after an accident. Among the wreckage is a Buzz Lightyear, who soon discovers that the massive shipment is packed with dozens of identical versions of himself, all members of Star Command. Wasting no time, he starts activating them one by one and helps them out of their pods. Little by little, this small army of Buzzes emerges and begins exploring the island to figure out where they are. After searching every corner of the island, they reach the shoreline and realize they're completely surrounded by ocean. With no obvious way to leave, they head back to where they started. That night, they build a campfire and gather around it. As they stare up at the sky, one of the Buzzes spots a bright star in the distance. The sight instantly reminds them of their true mission, reuniting with the leaders of Star Command. Determined to complete their objective, they begin planning a route back to civilization. But during their journey, they'll discover something that changes the way they see everything: the joy and sense of purpose a toy can find simply by being played with by a child. And that's when the story takes us back to the past. A long time ago, Emily writes a special note to her doll Jessie, promising she'll never forget her. She then leaves Jessie watching as she plays on a tire swing hanging from a tree. But that moment is only a memory for Jessie, because in the present day, her owner is Bonnie, who tells her the exact same thing, that she'll love her forever. Bonnie spends her days playing with the famous Toy Story toys. In one of her imaginary adventures, we see Forky getting married to Beverly. Jessie narrates the whole wedding, while Rex and the others watch closely. Suddenly, Bonnie decides the cake is poisoned, so everyone pretends Rex has become seriously ill. Buzz Lightyear then tries to save him by giving him mouth-to-mouth. Dolly joins in on the fun as well. But moments later, Bonnie gets startled when she sees that the Jordan twins have arrived. Jessie wants to help her make new friends, so she quietly steps in and encourages Bonnie to gather the courage to approach them. In the end, Bonnie crosses the street and tries to talk to them, but the twins just laugh at her, leaving her completely discouraged. Upset by what happened, Bonnie heads back home and tells her parents that nobody wants to be her friend. All of this happens while the toys watch from a distance. Determined to fix the problem, Jessie hops onto Bullseye and rides over to the twins' house, hoping to find some way to get them to play with Bonnie. But Jessie soon discovers that the world is changing. The age of toys seems to be coming to an end. Years have passed, and many abandoned toys can barely even remember what it felt like to be the center of a child's world. According to some of them, it all started when tablets, smartphones, and every kind of electronic device began taking over. Little by little, the constant tap of screens replaced imagination and traditional play. Jessie refuses to believe it and insists it must be nothing more than a passing trend. But the other toys tell her that if she doesn't believe them, she should see it with her own eyes. So they climb onto the roof of the house and look out at the neighborhood kids. Jessie is completely shocked to discover that almost all of them are absorbed in their electronic devices. Some are staring at their phones, others are playing on tablets, and the rest are glued to their screens. The only exception seems to be Bonnie, who still spends her time playing with her toys. But that situation doesn't last very long. One day, Bonnie's parents give her a new tablet called Lilypad. Excited, she turns it on right away and starts exploring everything it can do. What begins as simple curiosity quickly turns into a full-blown obsession. All day long, and even late into the night, Bonnie stays glued to the tablet while the toys are completely forgotten. Little by little, they fade from her attention, and she barely even looks at them anymore. The next morning, Bonnie's parents call her down for breakfast, and she leaves Lilypad behind for a few moments. Seizing the opportunity, Jessie tries to remind her of everything they've done together. She explains that all summer long, the toys worked hard to help her make real friends. But Lilypad immediately jumps in and assures her that's no longer a problem. Jessie insists that nothing can replace a real friend, someone you can spend time with face to face. But Lilypad fires back that Bonnie already has friends. She shows her the girls from her dance group, who also use an app connected to a game called The Pond. On top of that, their parents have created a group chat so all the girls can stay connected and talk to each other. Without anyone noticing, Lilypad starts sending friend requests and messages on Bonnie's behalf. When Bonnie returns to her room, she's surprised to discover that she's now part of her dance group's chat. To her delight, one of the girls even invites her to a sleepover. Bonnie gets excited right away, convinced that the tablet has solved the problem that had been bothering her for so long. Meanwhile, the toys see all of this as a sign that their end is getting closer. Many of them lose hope and decide to hide away, convinced that technology will eventually replace them completely. To them, it feels almost like an unavoidable extinction, but Jessie refuses to give up. Standing by her side is Buzz Lightyear, who decides to help her fight for the place toys still hold in Bonnie's life. Looking for help, Jessie reaches out to Woody. Bo Peep is with him as well. Ever since leaving Bonnie's room, Woody has dedicated himself to finding and rescuing lost toys that have been forgotten by their owners. Many of them have fallen into despair, feeling like they no longer have a purpose, convinced that kids would rather spend their time with technology than with traditional toys. Faced with this situation, Jessie asks Woody for help in dealing with the biggest threat the toys have ever faced. Once she finally reaches him, Jessie asks Woody if things are really as bad as they seem. She explains that technology has made its way into Bonnie's life too, and that a tablet called Lilypad is taking up all of her attention. Convinced they have to do something to stop it, she tries to make him understand the seriousness of the problem. But Woody points out that toys were made for play, while technology serves many different purposes, which means competing with it won't be easy. Jessie then opens up to him. She reminds Woody that Emily, her first owner, loved her too. For years, they were inseparable, but one day, everything started to change. Emily grew up, her interests evolved, and little by little, the time they shared came to an end. Jessie feels like history is about to repeat itself. Now Bonnie also seems to be drifting away from her because of that device. Saddened by the thought, she begins to wonder if maybe she's the problem, if perhaps she was never a good toy to begin with. Woody disagrees. He tells her that nobody knows Bonnie better than she does, and that if anyone can find a solution, it's Jessie. After thinking about it for a moment, Jessie replies that Bonnie isn't like other kids. She's a kind and imaginative kid, and she needs real human connection to be happy. Convinced by her words, Woody decides to come back and help. Meanwhile, outside the house, Buzz Lightyear is practicing how to propose. The fun wedding between Forky and Beverly has left him feeling inspired, so he keeps rehearsing different romantic speeches. But Jessie is so worried about Bonnie's situation that she barely pays any attention to him. At the same time, the group of lost Buzz Lightyears continues its journey, still hoping to reunite with Star Command someday. The next morning, Bonnie packs her bags for a sleepover with her new friends. Taking advantage of a moment of distraction, Jessie and Bullseye sneak into her suitcase. Lilypad believes it would be a complete disaster for Bonnie to show up at a sleepover carrying toys, so she tries to stop them. But Jessie ignores the warnings and stays hidden. During the trip, Bonnie discovers Jessie and Bullseye among her belongings. Instead of getting upset, she's thrilled and assumes her dad packed them so she'd have some company. But when she finally arrives at her friend's house and introduces her toys to the other girls, the reaction is nothing like she expected. The girls make fun of her and ask how she can possibly still play with toys. Embarrassed by the comments, Bonnie runs back to her father and asks him to take Jessie and Bullseye away. She also pulls Lilypad out of her suitcase before heading back to join the other girls. A short time later, Jessie watches the gathering from a distance and notices something troubling. Even though Bonnie is finally surrounded by friends, none of them seem to be paying attention to each other. They're all focused on their screens and on Lilypad's apps. To Jessie, it's proof that Bonnie isn't building real friendships because the girls aren't even looking at one another. Just then, an accident sends Jessie and Bullseye tumbling to the ground. A woman finds them and, while examining them, discovers an old card with an address and the name Emily, Jessie's first owner. Assuming the toys belong to Emily, she decides to drop them in a mailbox and try to return them. Alarmed, Jessie and Bullseye quickly escape and set out to get back to Bonnie. As they make their way through a grassy field, they come across a real horse. Jessie gets an idea and climbs onto it with Bullseye so they can travel faster. The horse takes off at full speed, but it soon becomes clear that it's heading in a completely different direction. After a long ride, they finally arrive at a stable. The horse turns out to be a mare named Almond. Nearby is a young girl who takes care of her. The moment she spots Bullseye, she falls in love with him and decides to take him home, unexpectedly separating him from Jessie right in the middle of her desperate mission to get back to Bonnie. Meanwhile, back at the house, Buzz Lightyear gathers the other toys and tries to come up with a way to make Bonnie remember the wedding and start playing with them again. During the discussion, he also admits that the wedding inspired him and that he'd like to propose to Jessie. Just then, Woody arrives, and the toys give him a warm welcome. A little later, Bo Peep and the others head off, leaving Woody with Bonnie's toys. Dolly introduces herself, and everyone fills Woody in on everything that's been happening lately. Before long, they start wondering where Jessie could be. Meanwhile, Jessie is at the stable talking with Almond. Suddenly, a piglet named Hammy comes over to greet her. After hearing her story, he decides to help and leads her somewhere unexpected. Jessie assumes he's taking her back to the house, but instead, he brings her to a home packed with toys. There, Combat Carl welcomes her and invites her to sit down, though she's quickly warned that she can't sit in Blaze's chair. All the toys in the house absolutely adore their girl. Jessie asks them how long it's been since Blaze last hosted a tea party, but they tell her it's been a very long time. Everything changed when Blaze got her first electronic device, a gadget called Smarty Pants. Jessie explains that Blaze took Bullseye and that she needs to get him back. As it turns out, Smarty is right there, and he offers to help her find a way out. The other toys pitch in as well, and then they leave the two of them alone, closing the door behind them. Meanwhile, the Buzz Lightyear clones continue following the light they've been tracking in the sky. Along the way, they encounter different animals and begin discovering the wonders of nature, enjoying the adventure. But suddenly, they hear human voices nearby. One of the Buzzes gets caught out in the open while the others hide. It turns out a family is looking for a place to camp, and one of the kids finds the abandoned Buzz. Excited by the discovery, he decides to take him along. The remaining Buzzes immediately activate what amounts to a code red and launch a mission to rescue him. At the same time, Jessie enters Blaze's house and realizes everything looks different. Once inside, she helps Smarty reactivate the other devices because he misses his old companions. Jessie agrees to help because she knows exactly what it feels like to be left behind and forgotten when nobody plays with you anymore. After that, the devices help Jessie get Bullseye back. As they move through the house, the gadgets explain that they also want to see Blaze again because they miss her a lot. During the journey, Jessie remembers Emily and shows them the card with the name of her first owner. The devices, however, have a hard time believing her story. Not long after, Blaze walks into her room with Hammy by her side. She's excited because her new friend, Sally, is supposed to come over for a visit. But when she checks her messages, she discovers that Sally completely forgot about their plans. Hurt and disappointed, Blaze comes to the conclusion that her only real friend is Hammy. Seeing this, Jessie realizes that Blaze is a special kind of kid. She's convinced that Blaze and Bonnie would get along great, so she suggests finding a way to bring the two girls together. At the same time, Bonnie returns home feeling upset while all the toys watch her with concern. They immediately ask Lilypad what happened. The tablet explains that the girls were playing hide and seek and eventually forgot to come back for Bonnie. Then, Lilypad adds that Bonnie wasted time playing with toys, which is why she got left behind, insisting that she should be spending her time on faster activities through technology instead. The toys insist that Lilypad leave Bonnie alone, but the tablet takes matters into its own hands and sends a message to Bonnie's dad while pretending to be Bonnie. In the message, she asks him to put the toys away in the garage. Without suspecting a thing, her father places them in a box and carries them out there. Once in the garage, Buzz Lightyear has a conversation with Woody. Since both of them ended up left behind from Bonnie's room, Buzz takes the opportunity to tell him that he wants him to be the best man at his wedding when he finally proposes to Jessie. After that, they unplug Lilypad's charger so they can talk to her later. Meanwhile, Jessie apologizes to the devices for calling them useless. She asks for their help and explains that Bonnie and Blaze are actually very similar, which is why she believes they could become friends. The challenge is figuring out how to connect them. That's when they put a plan into motion. The camera takes a picture of Jessie and Bullseye. Another device named Atlas adds a message about the missing toys, and Smarty, the potty training coach, uploads the post to the pond, since all of the devices are still connected to the same network. Meanwhile, back at the campsite, the kids are having a great time playing with the Buzz Lightyear they found. Meanwhile, the other Buzz Lightyears emerge from the water and quietly surround the entire campsite to rescue their fellow ranger. But when they're finally ready to move in, they notice that the kids are having fun with him and genuinely care about him, so they decide to leave him where he is. Not long after, though, they discover Jessie and Bullseye's post. Spotting a star in the picture, they assume it's a signal from Star Command, and they even manage to figure out the location. The next morning, Bonnie wakes up and realizes her Lilypad has run out of battery. She plugs it into the the charger and immediately starts using it again. Meanwhile, Jessie and Bullseye continue talking with the devices. The gadgets explain that everything about their play revolves around buttons and screens, but Jessie shows them that there's another way to have fun, actually interacting with other people. A little later, Blaze wakes up and starts playing with Hammy, but thanks to Jessie, Blaze and the little pig soon end up bringing the other devices into the game as well, including the toilet trainer, Atlas, and the camera. Before long, everyone is joining in the fun alongside Bullseye. Back at Bonnie's house, Lilypad finishes charging and tells Woody that they'll never be able to stop her. In response, Woody and Buzz start playing a few tricks on her, using a bug to tap on her screen. Lilypad tries to stop them, but they accidentally discover something interesting. Whenever they say her name, she automatically responds to commands. Thanks to that, they manage to access the post Jessie sent out. At the same time, Bonnie finds out that Jessie and Bullseye are missing because the message also reached her parents. Far from forgetting about them, she's genuinely worried because she still cares about them very much. A little later, Smarty the potty training device manages to contact Bonnie and tells her where they can be found. Bonnie and her parents immediately agree to go look for them. Slinky overhears the entire conversation, but when Bonnie leaves with Lilypad, Woody and Buzz Lightyear get into an argument because both of them want to be part of the rescue mission. After a brief scuffle, they decide to go together, knowing they're doing it all for Jessie. They eventually arrive at the location, but just then Bonnie starts receiving messages from the girls in her group. Since they also saw the Lost Toys post, they begin making fun of her, calling her a baby for still playing with toys, and sending stickers to laugh at her. Even so, Bonnie gets out of the car with her parents and heads over to recover Jessie and Bullseye. But when she finally meets Blaze, Bonnie insists that she doesn't play with toys anymore because they're old-fashioned and boring. She even says they have no value and that Blaze can keep them if she wants. All of this unfolds while Woody and Buzz watch the situation from nearby. The moment Jessie hears those words, she becomes furious. Alongside Blaze and Bullseye, she confronts the electronic devices and tells them they're partly to blame. According to Jessie, they've stolen precious time from kids and have slowly pulled them away from both their toys and the people around them. Suddenly, all of the Buzz Lightyears who had been traveling finally arrive. The second they spot Woody, they immediately capture him and accuse him of being a murderer. But before things can get out of hand, the original Buzz steps in. He explains that Woody would never hurt Jessie and reminds them that they're all toys. He then starts talking about Jessie, the red-headed cowgirl, telling them that she's the leader of the toys. He also explains that the sheriff is trapped inside a fortress and needs to be rescued. Finally, he introduces himself as the group's marshal and declares that Woody is his deputy, ordering everyone to untie him at once. Now all the Buzz Lightyears spread out across the house and begin searching every room. During the search, they come across the electronic devices, and Smarty Pants explains that Jessie is their friend and that she headed toward Swing Hill. The problem is that they can't walk all the way there, but then the Buzzes spot the horses and realize they may have found the perfect solution. Meanwhile, Bonnie shows her mom the messages she received from the other girls. Her mother explains that she can always talk to her parents because they love her exactly the way she is and would never want to change a thing about her. She also tells her that a real friend would feel the same way and suggests taking a break from that group chat. Afterward, the two of them head out together to get some ice cream. Back at the house, Lilypad is left alone on the table. As she reflects on everything that has happened, she begins to feel guilty. Realizing that she may have caused harm instead of helping, she decides to throw herself into a donation box. On the hill, Jessie and Almond are standing beside the old tire swing. Not long afterward, Bullseye arrives. Jessie admits that she can't just try to love another child in order to forget Bonnie, because she couldn't bear to go through that kind of heartbreak all over again. Then, she discovers something special. Carved into a tree is a mark showing that Jessie had once been there. Nearby, she finds a drawing and a box filled with old memories. As she looks through them, she realizes that Emily grew up and started a family of her own, but she never forgot about her. In fact, she even named her daughter Jessie because she'll always be her favorite cowgirl. As they're taking in this emotional discovery, Almond suddenly gets startled. The reason is simple. Woody and Buzz Lightyear have finally made it there. Jessie tells them everything is okay. She understands now that Bonnie will grow up someday, and it's not their place to decide when that happens. What matters is that they were there for her, that they stood by her side and helped her grow, and she likes to believe they succeeded. Even so, Jessie can't stop thinking about Bonnie and Blaze. Blaze. The two girls never truly connected. That's why they reach out to Lilypad, who immediately apologizes. She explains that those girls were never the right friends for Bonnie, and that she can't fix things now because she threw herself away in a donation box. Even so, Lilypad keeps sending photos of her location from inside the donation truck. Jessie, Buzz, and the others immediately set out to find her. When they finally catch up to the truck, Lilypad admits that she made a mistake. Now they need to escape. To make that happen, Lilypad scans the Buzz Lightyear's codes and activates their flight functions. Thanks to that, the Buzzes are able to carry the toys who can't move on their own. Together, they manage to get everyone out safely. Afterward, they agree to meet again later. Before they part ways, Buzz tries to work up the courage to tell Jessie something important. He admits that if he doesn't say it now, he probably never will, but his nerves get the better of him. Jessie just smiles, kisses him, and tells him that he's already her boyfriend and her deputy. After that sweet moment, each group heads off in its own direction. Lilypad, Woody, and Buzz return to Bonnie's house, while the others make their way to Blaze's home. There, all the toys reunite with Lilypad and put their plan into motion. Now, everything depends on the girls. A little later, Lilypad sends messages to Blaze while pretending to be Bonnie. Meanwhile, Bonnie's dad returns the tablet to her and explains that he has disabled the old group chat. Just then, Blaze arrives to visit. At first, Bonnie doesn't want to come outside, but she eventually decides to say hello. Blaze tells her that she's been playing with her toys and had an amazing time. Bonnie, feeling a little embarrassed, tries to pretend that she doesn't play with toys anymore, but after a moment of hesitation, she finally invites Blaze inside to play. The two girls immediately start creating a story together. In their adventure, they're celebrating Buzz and Jessie's wedding. Forky plays Buzz's father, while Mr. Pricklepants takes on the role of the officiant. They even use Bonnie's mother's wedding ring and head out into the yard to gather flowers for the ceremony. Little by little, Bonnie and Blaze start becoming genuine friends. The wedding goes on, and then Trixie suddenly objects to the marriage, claiming that Buzz is already married. The story becomes even more hilarious, and soon includes all of the devices, like Lilypad, Atlas, Smarty Pants, and the camera, who are now part of the adventure too. From a nearby window, Woody watches everyone playing together, happy to see that Bonnie has rediscovered her imagination and that toys still have a place in her life. He decides to leave once again with Bo Peep and continue helping other lost toys. Bonnie and Blaze become the best of friends. Even the Jordan twins eventually join in on their games, and that's how the movie comes to an end. But there's still a post-credit scene. We see a boy sitting alone during recess. Suddenly, a Buzz Lightyear appears to cheer him up. Before long, many more Buzzes start showing up, ready to bring joy to kids who need it. However, the moment takes an unexpected turn. One of the children opens his backpack and pulls out a brand new Emperor Zurg, Buzz Lightyear's eternal nemesis. And now, that's truly the end of the movie. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. That's all for today. See you next time.